Welcome to AnyMask, sewing a small size mask. This mask has a double layer of fabric, a pocket to add an additional layer, a space to add a nose wire, and a place to attach any elastic or ties you'd like on the sides. Here Any Guy is demonstrating the difference in the small, medium, and large sizes. The small size is a mini Any. A link to the printable PDFs of these patterns is in the description below. Here is two pieces of fabric that measure 18 by 22 inches. They've been washed and dried and are folded along the 18-inch edge. Using this size of fabric, it is possible to make 3 small Any masks from each piece of fabric. There are 2 pattern pieces, a big piece and a little piece. The big pattern piece is cut out on the fold. The little pattern piece is designed to go between them, so each traced little piece will give you 2 pieces of fabric. You will end up with an extra piece of little fabric that you can use on a different mask project. Use a washable fabric marker or a pencil to trace around each pattern piece. Cut directly on the lines that you traced around the pattern. The big piece on the folded edge and the little piece. The Any mask is reversible, so by using 2 different colors of fabric, there will be 2 different looks with one mask. The next step is marking the darts for the nose and chin contours of each mask. Fold the little piece in half with the wrong sides together. Place the template on both folded edges. And mark the angles to sew the nose and chin darts. Sew directly on all 4 traced lines. Using a straight stitch, do a slight back stitch at the beginning and the end of each line of stitches to reinforce these seams. When you get to the end of the first line, move the next line up. Continue sewing the second dart on the little pattern piece. Do the same process on the big pattern piece. It does not matter which side will end up being the top or the bottom of the mask, especially if you're using a solid color fabric. Separate your pieces. Trim off the triangular shaped piece of fabric formed by your line of stitches. Get close to the line, but not too close, about 1/8 of an inch. Repeat for the little pattern piece. In order to have finished edges once the piece is turned right side out, fold the bottom edges of both pattern pieces towards the wrong side of the fabric twice. Fold up about 1 centimeter and then another centimeter. Sew using a straight stitch close to the edge of the fold. No need to backstitch at this stage, as all of the edges will be sewn over again when the 2 pieces are joined together. If you're using a fabric where it's hard to tell the right side from the wrong side, remember to fold towards the side where you can see the line of stitches that were made earlier. Continue to double fold and sew down all of the edges. No need to be super precise with these folds. Pinning or ironing the folded edge makes this step a little easier. The folded section on the big pattern piece forms a little overhang, which can be snipped off to make it less bulky on the inside. Next, tuck the little pattern piece into the big pattern piece so that they can be sewn together. Open up the big piece so that the right side is facing upwards. Flatten it out and push the little pocket created by the darts towards one side, usually the left. Take the little piece and turn it right side out, wrong sides together, and flatten out the seams. This section will be tucked in to the big pattern piece. Line up the points formed by the darts and tuck the little piece into the big piece. Open the little piece and make sure that everything is tucked in. Flatten everything out. Now, take one side of the big piece and fold it up and over itself and part of the little piece. It will not go all the way to the center seam. It's just important that your angles on the sides line up. Turn the piece around, flip the pocket to the other side, flatten everything out, and repeat for the other side, folding over, lining up the angles of the sides, and checking to make sure things are nice and smooth with no wrinkles inside. Use clips or pins to attach the pieces to each other. Join the two pieces together by sewing in about a half an inch from the edge. Backstitch at the beginning. When you get to the bottom of the first folded over piece, take your time, slow down, and carefully pull the pocket open slightly so that you are sewing straight across and not forming any wrinkles on the back. Again, make sure that you're catching the other edge of the folded over piece down to the bottom and backstitch. And repeat the same process for the other side. Always double check that everything is lined up, laying flat, slowing down a little bit around that middle section, and making sure that folded up edge gets tucked under that presser foot all the way through. The little piece and big piece are now joined together. This is how it should look before it is turned right side out. It is not necessary to trim off any of the excess fabric that is outside the line of stitches. Take one side tab and flip it inside out and poke out the corners. Repeat with the other side tab. These will be folded over later and become the attachment points for your ties or elastics. For the final turn, reach into the pocket formed between the two pieces. Reach your fingers through. Take one of the tabs and pull it all the way through the pocket. This will turn the little piece right side out. Use your fingers to open up the mask, press out the seams, flatten it out, get out any wrinkles, and shape the contours of the nose and chin area. Adding another line of stitches once the piece is turned right side out will help it to keep its shape and also give room to add an optional nose wire. Your line of stitches in total will be about 3 inches long, so place the center seam at the 1.5 inch mark and use a pencil or fabric marker. This will be the guide on when to start and stop the line of stitches. To sew down the side tabs, fold the edge formed by the big piece in towards the little piece right up against it. Start sewing close to the edge, backstitch, and continue all the way across. Backstitching again at the end to reinforce. Repeat the same process for the other side. These tabs are designed to have plenty of space so that it's not difficult to switch out the attachment method of your choice, whether you like to use elastic, ties, around the ears, or around the back of the head. This demonstration is using black thread, so it's easier to see. Using a red color thread would blend in much better and not show up so much on the final product. Sew the line of stitches for the nose wire. Starting at one of the marks you made, line your needle up approximately ½ inch from the edge of the top of the piece. Lay everything smooth and flat, backstitch, and stitch straight down, keeping parallel to the top of the mask. Once you reach the second mark, backstitch slightly and finish off. Trim off the ends of all of the loose threads. All done sewing for the small size mini Innie mask. The last step is inserting your ties or elastic. Push the side open a little bit and feed your elastic through. Pulling it out from the other end, tying it in a knot, and tucking that knot in underneath the fabric edge. Repeat for the other side. And you're done. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you found this video helpful, informative, and that you'll be able to go out and make your very own small size cloth face coverings. This has been Innie Gal, wishing all of my fellow mask makers the very best.